Question of the day. What is your favorite Marvel property? Period. Mine is probably 90s comics and Marvel vs. Capcom, that whole series of the 2D ones, not the 3D ones. I didn't like them when they made them 3D because then they got away from a lot of the classic characters and things that I really love. But Marvel vs. Capcom is one of my favorite properties. Marvel in general is my second favorite comic property. I'm a DC guy, but I like the Marvel theme. I love the MCU. Thought they did a great job with it. A great 10 years, a great decade that we all enjoyed, right? So why am I talking about that? Well, today we're talking about a game that originally had no theme. This was what you heard about Splendor. It has no theme. It has no theme. It's just, there's gems and there's kings and queens. It doesn't matter, right? It's almost like chess. Well, chess doesn't really feel like the king and the queen battling. It feels like an abstract game. Exactly. Splendor is an abstract game. But this Marvel version puts a theme on it, and you're assembling the Infinity Gauntlet, and you have to get the Infinity Gems, Infinity Stones if you're more a newer fan, to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet and be the supreme ruler of the universe, basically. So let's take a look now at what Marvel Splendor does differently than just regular Splendor, and if you should pick up this version as opposed to the original right now. All right, so this is Marvel Splendor set up completely. You have the 3 rows of cards, you have the chips over there that are the Infinity Stones, Infinity Gems if you're old school. You have the 3 different levels, so level 1, level 2, level 3 of Marvel characters, and the way this works is just like basic Splendor, but if you haven't played basic Splendor, I'm going to explain how to do this. A couple of tweaks though that are in this game. Your goal is to get the Infinity Gauntlet. You're not playing just for 16 points anymore. You're actually playing to build the Infinity Gauntlet, which kind of makes sense because the original Splendor, the knock that everybody always said was, oh, it has no theme. This one actually kind of works a theme in. So your goal to win the game is to have 16 points worth of characters out there, which basically I guess you could technically mean you've recruited that many to your side. Good guys, bad guys, because if you read the Infinity Gauntlet, you know that sometimes the bad guys had to work with them. You then have 1 card of each of the color characters that are out there. That'd be blue, red, orange, purple, and yellow. And you also have to have a time stone. The only way to get a time stone is to recruit a level 3 character. And once you have your time stone, you can't get rid of it, you can't spend it. It is just one of the requirements that you have to build the Infinity Gauntlet. So a couple other tweaks. Like normal Splendor, there are these locations up top, which are pretty cool, and they're front and back. Basically, they're prerequisites to just get points. So if you have 4 cards of blue, 4 cards of red in your tableau, then you gain Wakanda. Same here on the back, 3, 3, and 3. They're all worth 3 points. It just changes based on the amount of players, which ones are out there, and how many are out there. Another new addition is the Avengers Assemble token. Now, the way this works is you'll notice some of the cards out there have Avenger symbols on them. If you're the first person to get 3 Avenger symbols in your tableau, you gain the Avengers Assemble what is this called? Little token? I don't know, card. This square thing here, it's worth 3 points. However, it's kind of like a Catan rule in the sense, Catan, I know. It's kind of like that in the sense that if I have only 3, and then someone gets 4 Avenger symbols, they'll take this from me and vice versa. It can move all around the game. On your turn, you're going to be collecting 1, 2, or 3 chips of different colors. Well, no, sorry. You're going to be choosing 3 chips of different colors. Or another action you can do is choose 2 chips of the same color, only if there are 4 or more there. So if there are only 3 purples left, you could not then take 2 of the purples. So kind of keeps things on your toes. There is a chip limit of 10, a stone limit of 10 in your own personal area. And the other option you can do, and there's 2 more options, you can reserve a card. So let's say you say, well, I really want Nebula. I can't get her yet. I've only got 4 of these purple gems. So you're going to reserve it. You take this, put it in your area. You can turn it sideways to mark it, and you'll gain a shield token. The shield tokens are wild, so then you technically would have an extra one of these, whatever you wanted to spend it on, to gain Nebula later, or anybody really. You could spend it for anybody. Reserving is good because it also prevents people from getting the cards that you want or taking the cards that you want. The other option is to cash in the chips to claim one of these characters. So Nebula is 6 purples, so let's just say I had 6 purples sitting in front of me. Or the other beautiful thing is notice that all the characters have symbols in their top right. So yellow, yellow, orange, red, red, blue, purple, and so of the 5 colors. The beauty of that is each one in your tableau counts as a chip of that color. So let's just say I had 3 purple characters in my tableau. I would then only have to have 3 chips to trade in for Nebula right there. The good news is too, it is colorblind friendly in the sense that they are all different shaped. So that it's not the easiest thing to instantly recognize, but notice that they're drawn around them. There's squares and boxes drawn around them so you can easily quickly identify those shapes versus the actual gems themselves, which helps. So then you'll trade in your tokens minus what you have your discount for your tableau, get the character, put in your area, a new one will instantly flip out. You'll keep doing this until someone reaches that threshold and claims the Infinity Gauntlet. If it's the last person's turn in the round, the game immediately ends and they win. If it's the first person's turn in the round, you'll finish the round out until everyone's had equal turns. If during a turn, multiple people reach the threshold to have the Infinity Gauntlet, so let's just say the first player gets it and then the second player gets it, it will then go to Infinity Points, which will go to the point value at that point. But that is how you play Marvel Splendor. So that's Marvel Splendor. It is straightforward Splendor with a couple of tweaks, but for some reason, the theme works because you are recruiting these people by using your influence with the stones and the influence of the Infinity Gems and maybe shards of them to influence them to join you to take down Thanos or to build the Infinity Gauntlet. That theme still isn't super strong, but it's stronger because the gems just work. Those poker chips of the gems look good. It just makes sense, right? I also like that you have to assemble all 5 colors and then the time stone and then have 16 points to become the owner, wielder of the Infinity Gauntlet. For some reason, that theme works to me better than the original. So 100% fan of how the theme works in Marvel Splendor. It actually makes it feel like a Marvel game, right? Let's talk about art. Obviously, I like the chips, or presentation, I should say, not just art. I like the chips. Splendor has always had a great insert. It's very fast to get to the table. I'm talking about in under 30 seconds, the game is ready to play. You put the tokens on the table, you shuffle the cards quickly, lay out 4, 4, 4, boom, you're done. You're ready to go. And that's something it really goes underrated in gaming, how fast a game can get to the table and get off the table. And Splendor does that so well. But enough about that. Let me talk about a gripe I have. Now, this is probably because when this went to production, the whole Fox deal wasn't done. I cannot stand when Marvel properties act like the X universe doesn't exist. You said, well, Bryan, they don't have rights to it. Absolutely not true. There was an embargo internally to where they said, no, we're not promoting X characters because we don't have the movie rights to those characters. I don't know if this was created at the tail end of that, but you saw it with HeroClix for a long time. Who is Fantastic Four? They don't exist. We've never heard of them. Who is Wolverine? We don't know who that is. And it drives me up a wall because if you've read the Infinity Gauntlet, the X-Men play a huge role. And so seeing that whole side of the universe missing while playing up the Inhumans and playing up like, look, here's Squirrel Girl and look at these random characters you've barely heard of. Like here's what's some of the Eternals characters, Karnak and all those guys. Like it's good to see them. But I want Wolverine. I want Jean Grey. I want Cyclops. I want these characters that I love that were integral to the main series. So that's a gripe. Can't be fixed. Unless they do a second edition now that Marvel owns Fox, and now they're like, oh, well, cool, we'll do that. So, again, I could be talking completely out of turn. It might be some sort of licensing extra fee to do the X-Men. I don't know. But all I know is it drives me up a wall. So enough about that. Let's talk about the game itself. Should you pick this up? Absolutely. This is the best intro game to get people into the hobby, especially if they're more into nerd culture, geek culture, as opposed to, look at this castle with this queen and this guy looking at this gem. This one's a lot easier to get people to go, oh yeah, I'll play a Marvel game. Absolutely, let's try it. And Splendor's always been a great first step game to get people into the hobby because it's, hey, you can take these 3 chips or you can take 2 chips. You can spend them to get that card, which helps you get more cards later, which helps you get to points. Marvel Splendor is a win. Go pick this up immediately. If you see it on the shelf, go pick it up. If you don't have an FLGS in your area, go ahead and order it. It's really definitely worth it. I really enjoy it. And I'm not a huge Splendor fan normally because I fell into the camp of, well, I'd rather play Century or something like that. But now that the Marvel theme is on there, I'm going to play this every time. I really, really, really enjoy Marvel Splendor. So I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Bryan. Until next time, we'll see you.